So what? Working?
We are
crazy busy. Like
we are live.
Okay.
Peace.
What's up, y'all?
Welcome to RVA Rap Elite, episode 40. Recap, Cypher breakdown. Episode 40 was another
working.
Monument.
Yeah. Crazy busy. Like
we are live. Oh wait, mute that. Yeah, man.
Yo, you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let me go ahead and share this. Share this here link. Share this. Episode 40 was crazy, man. Every episode this season has been pretty fire, pretty competitive. There ain't been no games played. Trey Authentic is a 3-time champion. Back-to-back consecutively, 2 seasons in a row, we've got a 3-peating champion. Last year was Mila Mansa, who turned out to be our season 4 MVP. Now it's Trey Authentic. He's had a hell of a run. He also simultaneously has been performing extremely well in the Cypher versus Cypher. This time they lost. And then he had a crazy battle against Rossetti, razor thin decision.
Yeah.
On Friday, less than 7 days from Rap Elite. So
his output is crazy.
Yeah, it's rare. It's rare to see anybody rap that much or that well. Let's say that well and that much.
And that much.
Right. So super shout out to Trey Authentic. But we're here to talk about, break down and recap the Cypher as a whole. Interesting. Because our first MC that we'll be watching had quite a bit to say about our champion.
Quite a bit.
And we're not going to waste any time getting into watching these videos. Oh, my bad. I ain't sharing my screen. Share my screen. Or was I supposed to do that before I went live? Oh, nah, here we go. Here we go. Go full screen on Cypher. Corey Ja, number 1. Let's get to it.
It's Corey Ja, look. It started off in the north. The shit I'm settling here. One of these niggas went bitch, thinking I disappeared. I'm talking 16 years. A brotherhood on the streets. One of these niggas is snake. I wonder if you can see. Man, the crazy thing about it, y'all look at him like a king. And it's blowing my mind. Really don't know what to think. This is supposed to be a mecca for hip hop in the city with the point of hip hop. Always keep it authentic. Just listen, pay attention. Can you see where I'm hitting? Bro was down bad. Needed a home meals he was missing. Once I found out, open my door, open my kitchen, working every fucking day. Had a family where we was living. Started buzzing with the rap, happy that he was winning. So his brother needed bread for the road that he was getting. Cause he was living things that we had vision in the beginning. Now he brave still there, but that's no pretend. But this around the time when shit got wicked. I had a baby shower, many blessings came raining in. Over 5K in gifts on my family faces, nothing but prayers. Then he came in like the witch and hit the lick of his life. His bitch took everything except for diapers and wife. At first, I was lost like, who really fucking did it? The hiding place. Only 2 people knew. Me and that nigga beat his ass a couple times, you know, off of that GP. But honestly, I wanna see this nigga 6 feet deep. Man, love radio beat. I just don't get it. How this nigga on the fly and the traces don't exhibit. I don't feel it. Look, man, really, I don't feel it. Listen, look, man, watch me kill him. When he's standing with the weapon, I've been hitting with the words that I think is flawless victory is ready to get toasty. When I pull up on that motherfucker quickly, on the hit with it, bullets hit him like they bicycle kicking. Look, usually I'm chilling and speak up left, but fuck it. Trey Authentic is a bitch ass nigga, and I'ma say it one time so you niggas remember that that nigga right there is a bitch ass nigga in his job.
Mm.
They pan the camera. They pan the camera. And catch it.
No, it's a
Well,
Yeah, that nigga can rap, son.
yes, that nigga can rap.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, nah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Nah, that's all. That nigga can rap.
That nigga can rap, man. It's not. It ain't but so much you can say about a verse like that. You know what I mean? This is just somebody getting.
And you know what's crazy? He was what 0.5 away from being in the sudden death with Trey Authentic.
Yeah.
Wow,
That would have been crazy.
that would have been crazy.
Yeah, he had to get his shit off. That was good.
Yeah, man. That's shedding. That's it's artistry.
And it's wild because earlier that day I was at Mike's crib and he was having a session at Mike's crib. I ain't have no idea he was gonna be in the Cypher that night, so I didn't even expect to see him when I showed up at Rapidly.
Yeah, what's crazy? He has really good projection. To be honest, it sounded better on the playback than it did in the venue. Slightly, it sounded like it was slightly muffled a bit in the venue, like the way he might have been cupping the mic. But it sounded better on the playback. And like I said, that was a great performance, man. He has great projection, can rap, tell an engaging story, while still throwing fireworks in there. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I heard him pretty clear in the building. This audio is not doctored yet, so
it could have been where I was standing too. Like I noticed, where you stand, like how the speakers hit. So sometimes it takes some moving around the room to get a good spot.
No, that's for sure.
First person to rap that night. So
yeah, man, he definitely did his thing. The scores were sent back out. Were the scores out again, or are you looking at the scores from when they first?
Yeah.
no, I got it. So where are those at? Are those in the email?
No, they
In the
should
chat.
be in the
I
chat.
just-
Yeah, if you look in
In the details of the chat.
yeah.
Look at the photos and shit.
No, I mean, he was a ways away from sudden death. About.
Oh no. I'm tripping. I was looking at the Nick's column. My bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was 26.5, though he was still number 4. With a 26.5.
He was 2 points away.
Yeah.
Sudden death.
All right, next up.
Big Bar 7. Billy said he was on his way to didn't make it yet. Next up to the stage, C Spicy. Make some noise for C Spicy, y'all.
Yo. His name is so fucking funny to me.
What's good? How y'all doing tonight? Let's get into it. Not fucking with you, all so like dynamite. Opponents in my line of sight, approaching these beats like I was trying to fight. Don't need to hop up on my dick, cause I'm not lying pipe. She want a night spice, so get that way no ratchet up. All these shit brings the smoke, I hope the rat's enough. Let me clarify, man, none of y'all can rap it up. Potential tap, I'm not acting tough. Everything on track, I'm backing up. You always need a lesson, cause you lack the rough. School bully in your class, storming in jacking lunch. Been playing games with these hardest, they used to get smacked for it. Student calls up, breaking my bar, so now they pack a punch. Go up the planes with the y'all, sorry, homies. I had a hunt till up your lanes in my home. Get a grip, you bad the tracks and such. And now your hat up, don't be honest. Honky sitting versus that, they ain't honest. What's a fucking grant to a promise? Opposition been demolished. I sacrificed a lot to get these guys close like college. These homies can't tolerance, can't stick with me even if they get the soldering. I got the times legit, I'm going more dumb than the bitch that wrote that Harry Potter shit. Shout out my family and my dogs riding on the god and shit. Shout out rap with me, help me stack the sheet minus the goddessness. Just like police, y'all rap careers, me some abolishment. And out of line, you homies always gotta fall in there. Funny shit, I'm not scared, I don't live in fear. Mean guard, using mean looking, I'm still over here. They can't compare, I'm Sidney Crosby in this rookie here. Man, hard my perseverance will help me to look clear. I'm looking clear, I'm looking down on these songs. With my girl by my side, I feel like flying, she fun. Without the ride, and even tsunamis and I'm flipping the time. I chase the flow with my army tricks. I chase the form into a champion. This homie sleeping on me like they pop a purple ambient. Showing everyone to respect the name of camera. Every boss I gain more power from my damages. Sick cop boost, think it's time to let loose. Whole team with me, winning even if I lose. No shit, cause I wanna be like I produce. And when I get my hoodie, homie, know that it's no fluke. Hey yo.
All right, C Spicy. This is not one of my favorite C Spicy performances. What?
Nothing.
I mean, speak your mind, sir.
I mean, what would be a favorite C Spicy performance?
I would say maybe 2 episodes ago was the Uncle Ruckus line. Like C Spicy, couldn't hear you. F.
No, I said that Uncle Ruckus line was hard.
Yeah. C Spicy has had his, definitely had his growth moments. I feel like what's happening right now is, especially a beat at this speed, trying to keep a certain flow pattern, stifling his work. Breath control seems to be a big thing for C Spicy. Ease, what are your critiques?
I would say he's got to like find I almost want to say find himself more on the beat, but I just feel like he needs to take his time more and like really like if he's serious, really practice his flows so that he can find something that works for him on the beat. Because what I'm hearing right now, it sounds a lot like he's forcing, like forcing his rhymes upon the beat. Like his flow's not coming off smooth, as I think it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I feel like he got to be a little bit more comfortable, and I feel like we're just slowing down a little bit more, and being a little bit more, I guess, patient with the flow will help, him loosen up and be comfortable. Because I see, he's standing in one spot the whole time, kind of vibe.
Yeah, nah, you know what I would say? I think C Spicy has some dope lines that he comes up with. He has some dope references that he makes. And he does fall into pockets, but sometimes he might fall out of a pocket. And
Right.
really what'll happen is like it might be like too many words in a bar.
Yeah.
And it carries over. So it's like if you after you write it, like, you know, try and edit it down a lot, or not a lot, but edit it down in places where you have that carryover. And like I said, if that's just structure and scaffolding, right? And we've talked about that sort of feedback. Can you hold on a second, guys? Hold on a second while I'm talking. Hold on. Thank you. I know that one was sounding crazy. I just know it was sounding like grating behind me. But with that sort of this scaffolding structure, you know, that will help a lot of MCs in the Cypher get their ideas across better, right? Because it's like there a lot of the guys have novel thoughts, they have dope ideas, but it doesn't always come across right simply from a matter of a way like construction, the way the rhyme is constructed. There might be too many words, or you know, so it's just like self-editing, you know, like if you write it within the first week, you know, take a week to edit it, you know, and then spend that last week and some change memorizing it or whatever. And but that's overall feedback that anybody can take from.
Right. And that would also help with the breath control, because I feel like that's what's happening. Too many words, trying to get them out within a certain pocket, and then you just kind of like trampling your work. And then before you know it, you're out of breath. It seems like you don't remember your stuff, but you do. It's just that you've now, you've reached your bandwidth, you know, and then you got to catch your breath and you get back to it. I noticed he jumped in on the beat early. A few people did that, which makes, you know, a beat that's already fast paced even more difficult to, you know, you trying to jump in on a downbeat on a beat like this is like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because you're already, it's like jumping in a treadmill on your toes. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be able to catch your footing. You would need to be super special with the flow to do that. And I feel like C Spicy's still learning himself when it comes to all of this. So definitely, I agree with F. Take some words out, pace yourself, give yourself some room to breathe, and get your words out clean. All right, next up.
C Spicy 99 on Instagram, C Spicy 804 on TikTok, all that, you know. Thank you.
150 coin. 150 coin. Is here? Not here. Next step to the stage. Sade with the sled. Sade. Stand.
What's up, y'all? What's good? How y'all feeling tonight? Y'all feeling good tonight? Hey, rock with y'all. So I got a call from Franklin. Said it's time to waste this niggas. I got a new assignment. No way training at you, nigga. I'm a sitting timer. Drove his ass crazy the way that I used to ride him full speed. Fuck the way you used to excess like drop the console when you set the box, take hold of it. I'm on the ice now. Into the pad. Took my pins out. Took my head down. Now I'm back in the side. So let's for the other day, we gon' keep the next one silent. She can get violent, I mean, I started with the slick demons we playing. If you a hater, you forever gon' be hating. I'm well respected for my hustle and integrity. And now I work with me and become a casualty. You think it gritty, I'm from the city, like, get out your car, get keys, I think you'll be. I'm still in the beat, hey yo, I'm still in the beat, repping that NYC, like yo, it's really good beat. My 10 toes down, like down to that first toe down, at max with my 10 pounds, that's 4-5 rounds, make it go pow pow, have them like ow ow, that's a full set, boy, you better watch. Listen, hey, I'm a son, let's believe you already know I come through, listen, on board, sharper than a 2-inch sword, I want that shit, got you so slick, and bigger ring, but if it ain't my money, I ain't listening.
All right, Sade with the slay. I feel like she started out with a written this time. What just happened with it?
But then it got into a freestyle.
You know, I noticed that she did pay attention to what we said on the recap last time. I seen her make some posts about it. So I know that there was an effort there to make sure that she went to the pen and the pad, but she deviated.
It sounded good though.
Yeah, I mean,
He did some cool stuff there too with the wordplay in there in the middle.
I like her voice and her like swag on the you know the stage or whatever. She just got to come with the practice, the bars, and then the written raps. If freestyling isn't your forte, because freestyling can work for you, as we've seen that night.
Yeah, but also just as a note, because she probably wasn't around when we said this before. Freestyle is a tool that you can use to add spice to what you have. But if you're coming to competitively win, it's going to be best to use what you've written, because you're going up against people who have spent all month writing and crafting something.
Right.
That's going to have intricacies that are going to get reaction, you know, and elicit a response. So like use freestyle as a secret weapon, you know what I mean? But come to show off your pen work and the way your mind works.
Yeah. Because this is really supposed to be about, you know, you progressing and getting better as a performer, performing, you know, your written raps that you've penned and went over the whole month. You know what I'm saying? Because you could freestyle all day and get around your homies and get nice at freestyling. Yeah. But this is,
but even in that, it's like there's still and people don't like to admit it, but there's still an amateurishness to that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to ascend to like phenomenal levels of freestyling in order to not perform amateurish while freestyling against a bunch of written rhymers. Like it just is that way. You know what I'm saying?
God level, yo. You gotta be God level.
Yeah, you gotta be like or somebody.
Yeah, super nat somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
ever flowing.
Yeah, for real. Like it's very rare. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I know a lot of people, you know, advocate for that, and they feel like that's real MCing.
No, it's a party trick. Listen, yo, it's a
party trick.
Freestyling is a party trick. It's to amaze drunk people. All right, let's keep it a stack. Yo.
Let's keep it a buck.
Party trick. The only time I do it is when I'm drunk at a party, and that's the only time I actually kill it. And the only time I'm actually really good at freestyling is when I'm drunk. And I'm at a party and we just like shooting the shit.
And I mean, when we were young, we did it a lot, and I did it
a whole. That's how
I did it back then. You know,
but that's what it was though. You had to be able to do that. And the thing was though, what made niggas special, at least I know me specifically, I was able to jump in and out of my writtens. I knew all of my writtens so well on the back of my hand that I could jump in and throw a line on the spot where it will fall and get right back into some more written shit. Like that was a regular thing that I did to where people wouldn't know if I was writing freestyles, spitting freestyles or written if you hadn't heard it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
heard the
But
dude.
That's what makes niggas. That's what made niggas
But
like dangerous.
even then, it was blending it was the thing to do. Like, you don't want to go off on, and mind you, this is has nothing to do with Sade's feedback. This is a whole nother rabbit hole. But one of the things that I always say, as far as us giving feedback, is can't give free feedback to a freestyle, because there's no way to help you or guide you to freestyling better. You know what I'm saying? I can only really judge or kind of critique or even give feedback to your written raps, because I can tell you, how you might need to refocus your pen, or how you can change your approach to writing or performing what you wrote. But I can't tell you how to fix what's coming off the top of your head improv. You know what I'm saying? Because next time you might have some different shit on your mind. You might be in a different mood. It might, you know what I'm saying?
Like different movie, different shows.
The wind might blow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
anything. It could be anything.
Anything can change how you freestyle. You know what I'm saying? So we can only talk about what's prepared and what's executed and how it's executed. So please, 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 we want to hear Sade with the slay for real. You know what I'm saying? So definitely.
And you know who used to do that a lot was Simone J. She used to always resort to the freestyle, and now, you know what I'm saying, she be coming with them bars. So
that's a fact. That's a perfect archetype to transition from this point to that point. You know what I'm saying? Simone J ended up becoming the first MC to put up a 29.5 before there were ever a 30. So it can be done.
I remember that episode too. She went off.
Facts. Broke the ankles and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up.
So let's put up. Drove his ass and become a casualty. You think it grip? It ain't my money on it.
Look at Ease.
Chill.
It's good. Yeah, I got to clap, but it's all good, bro.
Gotta get in the
gym. Paying attention, doing his job though,
It's all good, bro. Let's go. Hold on, I got it. I wrote this verse like Monday, so y'all don't forget it. I'm gonna read this bitch. Y'all can be mad if y'all want to.
Yeah, that was.
I thought I had a couple beats. Keep going. Yeah, I'm up actually long, my sacrifice, yes. Feel a push in my form and breathless. I said, just trust your best, and the hell your ass is my best. It's set press on my left. You clear checkers, wait. Go tell them level like a pot in a hologram. Check it on the brook, sell a press, selling dapper dance. Either scrap cans, metal, how I rack a band. It's like a jam, hooked up with the bunch of plans. Drums jam, so I'm squeezing on my accordion. Keep going. My mind wicked and I'm living, my eyes shifting. Your mind's vicious and my vicious, that eye slipper. My guys get it. All right, I'm good. I can't. Keep running that bitch, bro. I can't walk on. I'm gonna read this bitch and y'all gonna be mad, but I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I'm up an echelon, my sacrifice, yes. Feel the pressure, my fall, I leave you restless. I snatch your chest with your vest, and the hell your ass is my best. This ain't press on my left, deliver checkers, wait. Put yellow level like a pocket in a hologram. Check it on the biggest hella press, selling that with dance. Either scrap or cans, metal, how I rock a band. Hoping that it's like a jam, vegetate and watch your plans. My drummer dance, so I squeeze on my accordion. Swirling like a cardigan, never, I'm off the argument with the falsity, man. I flow smarter, he said. I drip hard, no bad. My shit's sparkle, you and I just started. It already gave you a part. And that whole need a body, so you know what I'm part of. So, I got y'all.
Yo, you know what's crazy is the bars that he wrote down are actually kind of crazy. Like he's saying some shit, but as has been the case for a while, that Prep is killing them.
Yeah, man.
And you can't come on the stage and be mad at the audience. They didn't do nothing to you.
Don't be mad at me either.
Don't be mad. Don't be mad. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be mad. You know what I mean? I do feel like Chef Token has a pen though.
Yeah, I feel like he can write, man. I would like to see him on 100.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
and also beyond Prep, enunciation. I feel like just making sure he getting his words out clear and getting his verse out would have a huge difference on what and maybe also slowing his shit down too. Do feel like a lot of the times when he's rapping, a lot of his content is kind of getting smothered. Seems like a lot coming at you fast, pause. But yeah, I mean, Prep, man, you can't really say much. No Cowboys, please.
Funds. Make some noise for funds, y'all. I'm blind as hell. Yeah, I go by fundamentals, man. Funds. Funds RVA on Instagram. Y'all know me. And the people that don't know me, where that's what's up too. Yo, man, ready to be the guy, man. You can find platforms, man. But let's go though. I was like, hey, let that jump drive. Hey, at your bitch crib with a Bluetooth, can you chop a feature? I can't check on nothing, please don't test me less than Caesar. Get your chick procedure, now you teeter, she a leaver. I'm a rapper taking chances, most these niggas tweeters. I ignore these niggas, rather spend my leisure with deeper. And you cats is giving problems, I just give them freedom. Wasn't free when you need them, I run it up, I don't need them. Y'all selling dreams in the DM, I'm selling treat in your bam. I post a positive meme, no search for eyes when I'm scheming. I'm talking shells on the semen, talking looping, I'm beaming. Niggas greasy, I can't make no agreements. If your pride went in the way, I can margin increase it. Niggas lying to your face, got the ops in the meetings. Fuck the thick law. Man, he about to be score sequence. Check the cap shop law. Who the spitter you needed? Ever send your homie life and your blood on the semen? I'm dropping thousands on the fab and they say they asked for it. Then we hit you shit and we fast forward. Please me the fake taps. Once the flows kill, get my drinks fulfilled. Try to live my kill. Get my money taller than skinny. Hendrix turning them still. Guilty by association. Careful where you chill. Careful when it's real. Connect the dots. The niggas will get on that flashing. Do I feel you on that flashing? Hey, what's the profit? Hey. It's like niggas let them cap on. Pressing me, pressing B, I turn this cap on. 97.3, just need a platform and black on. I didn't say I fell off, but it's not black on. They don't Google Chrome and get the back and I go back from the studio and crack on. This was just a switches and switches on his trap on. Dissonance and dissonance, snitching on the trap on. Why do you have to dip around my digits that is latch on? I'm gonna up the game up, she in the book, no pants on. I'm gonna throw my mirror out of essence, tell her trap on. Ain't no banger, I just take your set while you rap long. Sure they think I'm playing her, but really y'all just tell me how they load the short, but then they dash off or walk to these racks from A to Z like the pack song. Guess me out the day was with your being on the trap song. If I'm in my feelings, they want hot shit with no mask on. Better from the ops, nigga don't ever throw them tracks on. You was on stage that has the bad shit, mad blown. Yo, mom's playing, man, you find out, yo.
Hey, yo, can I go first?
Yep.
First of all, tell me this nigga don't look like Franchise, the battle rapper.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
look just like Franchise. Second, I liked his delivery. I liked how he rapped on this beat. It reminded me of like a Wu-Tang affiliate, like Killer Army or something like that. Like I thought it was hard. I would say there were a few parts where it was a little jumbled, but I liked it. I like that delivery. I don't think anybody else rapped like that night, the way that he came off on it. And personally, I like that sort of stuff. It gave me like dope underground vibes. So that's my feedback on it.
I can feel that. I just, I feel like he was saying some shit too. Great rhyme schemes as well. A lot of good multi-syllable shit. But gotta clean up that enunciation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's the only thing for me.
Like niggas be in love with, you know what I mean, kind of being like being sloppy with the shit could be like artistic, but it's really when you in, that shit's cool, like when you in the studio, but like when you performing live, when you gotta get that shit out clean. Especially in a setting like this, but especially when you've written some dope shit. And I also feel like the delivery caused him to like lose breath control too. So he got a little winded at times where he couldn't get all his words out. You know what I'm saying? But
it's definitely a gamble trying to land a flow like that in public. In the studio, you can spit it till it's perfect. It's harder to land in public. But yeah.
Yeah. But no, overall, definitely a dope verse. I fucked with it.
Yeah, I like the verse a lot.
How's it going, y'all? Nothing like a self-deprecating rapper, this suffocating no rappers like ever heard. Did the Giants match just throwing shots off the top? So you need to pay attention so I don't get walking back pennies or something. So that states that I don't need mathematics to see that I've been affected with all the game. I've been giving y'all something like a benefactor. This mic is my acrobatics as I do these alphabetical acrobatics. When I rap, I always have a problem being pragmatic. Bad guy, like a serial killer, I take another stab at systematic and mind is nailing another track. It's automatic, no matter how high they be stacking the odds. I attack it, push past it, come back around and laugh at it as I laugh it like NASCAR. I'm so past y'all like you ain't even moving. Still got a lot to prove as I'm pursuing the crown. But for now, I'm trying to be like a boogie and get a hoodie. These other rappers are just toys in my story like I'm Woody. Oh, goody. The buzz I've been a generator for me light years ahead to infinity and beyond. So don't look beyond what I say. Don't got a hella sweet and sour like lemonade. I know my chances are slim, but still I am not afraid to let out the monster inside like Godzilla. And rap to back the last you on venom like a river looking past me. It's probably time to reconsider. Call me Mr. Amazon Prime because I always deliver. Shut it all down like a shot to the liver. Sorry, I am not bitter, but when I rap, I can be out of pocket. No, for real, that's radio. In the last breakdown, he said I wasn't in the pocket. But anyways, this time I got it, it's like they're playing tag, cause you are not so any point you trying to make it's like it's on fire. You should stop it, drop it, cause I'm on a roll like a tire. Reach this level, it's gonna require you to perspire and grind so hard like you never tire. You call me a liar, cause you know that I'm right. If you wanna be a better writer and rhyme shit, I'm on a race now against the timer. Call me a slow riser, cause after every cypher, I'm placing a little bit higher. But believe the same thing happens this time on the last time is backfire. Let me take a breath cause I got a little excited, but like the start of the Olympics, the flames been ignited. You can try to fight it, but you can't hide it deep down. No one here tonight did it better than I did.
All right. F, what's your feedback for Jordy?
So I felt like the beginning of the verse, he was in pocket.
Yeah.
He was landing it. Literally, after he said, you told him he'd be out of pocket.
He got out of pocket. It was hard for him to pick that back up.
To jump back in it.
Right.
Kind of fell out of pocket. Yo, had he landed that, it would have been hard.
Right. Yeah.
It would have been hard. But then he ended up you know what I mean, like sifting, you know what I mean, back
it.
onto the tracks, you know what I mean, and coasting it out from there. But yo, I thought this was a good showing from him. I thought it was exponentially better than last month. I feel like he was in his bag. I think those up tempo beats are a plus for him. And the thing is, like I've always said, yo, he writes some cool stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I
he
think
writes cool stuff. It's just getting it out in a digestible way. He did better this month.
I agree. I think what he does with metaphors is not, I don't know if I would call them metaphors. It's kind of like the light thing, but you're almost like blatantly describing what it is, your metaphor, the connecting point of your metaphor. So it's like, I'm trying to think of one specifically, but he did it at least twice in this verse. It was like, damn, I can't remember which. I really want to almost go back.
Yeah, find it.
Require you to perspire and grind so hard like you never tired. You call me a liar cause you know that I'm right. If you wanna be a better writer and rhyme shit, I'm on a race now against the timer. Call me a slow riser cause after every cipher I'm placing a little bit higher. But believe the same thing happens this time when the last time is back. But let me take a breath cause I got a little excited. But like the start of the Olympics, the flame's been ignited. You can try to fight it.
Like that. Like the start of the Olympics, the flame's been ignited. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But know that it's just a descriptive statement.
Yeah, we see the line coming.
It's not a punchline. And I want to just be clear on that. Like, you can say that, but no, it's not a punchline or like a point scorer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the way that he delivers those lines is in the thought of them being like punchlines.
Yeah. So the beauty of a punchline, think about it as like a partially drawn circle, right? That doesn't, where the 2 points don't fully connect. You want to give enough information in your bar to close the circle this much, and then let the listener make that connecting point. Like a punchline and metaphor is taking two different things that don't go together and making them fit together through some common thread. And that common thread is that extra little part of the circle that the listener fills in. That's what makes a punchline funny or engaging. That's the aha moment. So like when you say something like the start of the Olympics, what was the line about the torch? When you say
the flame is ignited like the start of the Olympics.
Yeah. So what we know that. You
right.
know what I'm saying? So it's like you would want to try and like flip that in, another way, you know, or think of something more abstract about the start of the Olympics that doesn't have to do with the flame. Maybe it's the way they're stretching. I'll stretch you like the runners at the start of the, like, you know, maybe it's something else, but you know.
Yeah, it definitely some sort of like implied knowledge has to be, you know, utilized. Cleverness, you know what I mean? Not just descriptiveness, cleverness and wit in how you create that implication.
Yeah, I gotta pick up Uber Eats from the door. I'll be back.
Okay. All right, so we'll move to.
But you can't hide it deep down enough. No one here tonight did it better than I did.
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, yo, what's up, y'all? What's up, Tank? That's right. They calling niggas bitches. I was with my niggas, you know, we smoking swishes. We was off the top and rolling, smoking mountains, and smoking cold and on my own, and said that girl I need. I said I figured off on energy, smoking it like it's clear to me. Can't even see me. I was in the puff and rolling pushes like the J's. Smoking what I need when I
rolling off his head to tip, I spit this shit. Smoking till I give no fucks and rap my own. I'm a freaking grab my nuts and middle fingers up. Fucking rolling up. Smoking till I give no fuck. Share, I say, fly section, closed caption, Zan habits, cool cut bandits, backstabbers, breaking, receiving residuals for happy but driving static cemented from Medusa. Yo, a new slate, about me, they paydays with numbers since the escape of the womb. My tune may never sound so sweet. Repeat the profits are falling, a plethora of extra static damage. Are now stagnant, promoting welcome, fulfill with the wine. Coming from us all, sings the melodies, hypnotic products of love. Love feelings get me tempted, dusting off all the burdens of passionate. Mastering the wickedness, tongue sword forced in forbidden kill. Harder than I speak slim, I speak slim. I just need it really often and spit it often. Y'all niggas awkward, I spit it toxic. I just get the potent on me till I need it. I just get feeding off until I get my own. I say my own time. I ride like on bike, she ride mine. Feel like I need privacy, see more. Y'all can't ever see me, see knows I get red. Talking like I need hit like right now, like it's all up. All of the tang in the biscuit, spitting gifted. I just spit this steak in the wind through the spitting racks. I just spit it racks, y'all never got this. Y'all niggas not enough, not out of pocket. Rapping like I said, it rapping, spit mine. I must spit this mindless rap, this spit toxic. Y'all can't stop this. I just be there, rolling in the marsh pit. I just be like King Kong. I swing my nuts like rap. Shit and rap that niggas never got. I must spit this off, they mad. I be a superhero. Spit it like I need for zero. Y'all niggas all for I never stop. Hey, yo, I'm Cypher, yo.
Now Cypher has, Cypher is very unorthodox and can be kind of like, all over the place subject wise and flow wise, but I think this one was a little more unhinged than usual.
I don't know what was going on. He ain't write nothing.
Yeah, it was like almost like he was freestyling for a good long while there. Yeah, I can't. It's not too early on. I did see the stream of thought where I could tell there was a written going on, but then it veered off into like some other shit. You know what I'm saying? But my thing with Cypher is, I say it all the time, you gotta put some control into that chaos. There's so much potential there in the chaos, but you have to choose to discipline that shit. Have to choose to bring that up a level, and I feel like that's not something that's being focused on. So it kind of just stays where it is. So we're gonna have to see.
Yeah. And wear the crown and 4 pounds of pressure. I smoke and listen to a Malcolm lecture, thinking how I want my album set up. Something just like to make you smirk in a place in the vibe or birth divination with a splash of vibranium. To specify a level of niceness you could never gain. When I rap, you can't see me, I'm Mr. Cellophane. I'm so mindy, slow, shifty, low down, dirty and grimy, white out, blunts and heinies. Both are celibate lives, just double or more entendre bombs. That shit that just happened to rhyme. So nasty, if you did eat ski, you'll toss them up. How you fucking with me when your shit is weak as a fork for money? Word up, you hear me flow and say that's disgusting, like you was watching 2 girls in the cup. Yo, the world ain't enough. Shit, I've been starving my whole life. I might need the universe to be stuck. Eyes never too big for my stomach. Cause real rap, I'ma force myself on it if I want it. And right now my eyes is on the prize. So fuck all that rah-rah. You talking right down and recognize that lyrically I'm 3 light years ahead of these guys. Find a verse to prove that special's alive. And don't worry, I'll wait. You ain't seen a better spirit in the whole entire tri-state. Why hate? Just give me my props, fucker. I touched around the niceness that do not cover. I am not the guy you should've did your due diligence. I flip it whoever you send a piece of implements. It's ski who you thought it was supposed to be. I
I've been here the whole time, discreet, close to the streets. A few setbacks, like a slingshot, I spring purple. Making a little bread, they ain't gotta flip burgers, sell crack, been whole farm niggas, or do murders. Been at it for a while, so my style you never heard of, yo. You never know when I got the Johns. Let me take an 8 out of you, nigga, like the Octomom. I'm not the one, old Manny Pacquiao ass fella. You fake as hell, plus you don't rap clever. The competition you spit is weekend, it don't offend me. You can have all the faith you want, no biggie.
Yeah. Some dope lines in there from Trey Ski. The Octomom line was dope. I like this style. It kind of give you almost give you like a Prodigy feel.
That's what I was just about to say, but without the the Prodigy had a type of
swag.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a different level of confidence.
Trey Ski was a little bit more sharp and harsh,
Right.
Yeah.
A little anxious.
Yeah.
You definitely get the, I think if once he can kind of get comfortable on the stage and really get into character, and get the confidence of, I think he was a little nervous.
It's like he had like a lot of stop and go action, like he was making statements at you, type of vibe.
Right.
Just like flowing, like having them bars connect.
Right. For sure. I think they definitely could clean it up a bit. And just throw some more of those clever lines in, but definitely weave them rhyme schemes together so that it flows a little bit cleaner. It doesn't feel as like stop and go. Because it definitely had a little bit of stop and go and some anxiousness to it. But good first time. Definitely come back.
All right. Oh man, I'm Blaine Cool, yo. This is my first time on the RVA Rap League platform, man. Like what I see so far, I'm fucking with it. Let's get it. All right. Like this. I found myself to complain often. I'm in deep thought, I'm contemplating weighing options. To hit the block like Lane Johnson, or get the rock and hit it with the elbow like my name Dwayne Johnson, or change the game plan. I can't run the same office. I know they watching on the sideline, I move cautious. I made the articles, the chances looking horrible, but anything is possible. Imagine then what God do. I couldn't crack a smile, lost faith after a while. They told me keep consistency, this industry is volatile. I was born in September, I'm an autumn child, but never get the idea that I'm falling down. I know it get on your nerves when I step on the verse. It's something like I stopped the head on the curb and check if they hurt. Cause this here be for better or worse. It's the aftermath of being best but never in first. I never out to position. I stayed inside the origin. They probably notice the transformation like metamorphosis. The outcome of hard work and the struggle, the source of me. They enjoy the fruits of my labor and feel like they oranges. I'm the result of moving bowels. These niggas the porcelain. That mean I shit it on them. I'm a good omen. They do I be like this since Caesar led the Romans. I like to keep it low key, but I can be a showman. I try to be humble, but I ain't feeling it. They give me their CD. I throw it like a criminal dish. I run the track 100 laps and now they upset. Killing beats and crime that you can label me a suspect. For the underdogs, I fight every one of y'all who saw me cooking up and suggested I cut the oven on. I won't take it too personal, I just shrug it off and put the pole inside of your lady. We playing bumper cars. No, I'm a big stepper like I played to stomp the yard. But I don't look at y'all concerned, I stomp the yard. Like when I used to play Madden on the PlayStation 4, man, I'm going for it all. I never put the ball. It's cool, nigga. Yeah.
That bumper cars line was crazy. But I like the verse overall. The flow was steady. Wasn't a whole lot of like tricks in there, wasn't a whole lot of metaphors and all of that. He was kind of straight talking. But I felt like he had a level of comfort that a lot of first timers don't have. And I feel like there's a lot of potential for him to have some standout verses going forward.
Who was this
Yep.
again?
Blaine Coos.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say this is the textbook definition of a solid verse. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's not like really like fireworks or surprise moments a lot. There's a couple of lines in there, but strong projection, good wordplay, good understanding of structure and delivery and kicking shit right. It's just like a solid verse. But I agree with what Radio said. That could be like it's a little bit more. I don't want to use the word pizzazz, but there's a little more spice thrown in.
Like to hear him on one of them.
The technicals are there. The fundamentals are there for sure.
I like to hear him on one of them slower beats.
Yeah, for sure. I think that fit his style a lot better as well.
Yo, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all do y'all thing, yo. Before I get started, can I get a yeah? All right, shit, run that. Yo, with the camera, that's one. This is the one that you be putting on your car? Oh, you on here? Look, set, nigga, I'm the best out Richmond. Doesn't even go here. Apex predator, sweet show, no fear to poke in, so don't go there to be crystal clear. Nah, nigga, you can't sit in this shit. Me so signed the bullet when he added this man, the son of God. You know my shit pure out of 9 New York. They can't buy this off. They just talking and talk. I never listen to God. From the job to the boss. Yeah, that's me, nigga. What you need, nigga? Get it off like a sleep, like these niggas gon' run with the pack. Now I like to be out chopping in the pack to the mat. He ain't living like that. Go get a desk job. You know I'm still trapping. You can hit me when you get off. I always been the wolf. I don't ground. I'm the big dog. They try to split the team, but I rather not they pick up. What the truth? I might be Rosetta Stone. I ain't with the back and forth like a metronome. This guy's actually cop that. They playing in their rap, setting cop that. Logo getting rich, but I caught back. And then I took another route. Listen, play fucking out. Testing like the fire had to get it out. Get to the little round. They double back around. Cause they know we back around. Never back it down. They choking on the hustle, nigga. You a like a crap. They ain't never want to tussle cause they know we back around. Other words, they pussy. Cause they know how we get down. Always been a smoke just the way when you go around. I'm God in the hurt. I'm God in the hurt. I'm a fraud in the skirt. I'm a fraud in the work. I'm a boss going to work. Don't get lost in my work. I got the whole thing in work. I'm going to play with a smirk, nigga. Radio go.
I like him.
I like his energy. I like the rhyme schemes. Definitely was cuffing the mic though.
Yep.
You could hear him clear when he was doing his introduction, but then as soon as you started rapping, it was like in a tunnel somewhere. But love the energy, love the rhyme schemes. I do think kind of could slow it down a bit, do some more cleverness with the pen, you know what I'm saying? A little more intricacies with the pen. I think it was like a lot of shit talking, you know what I'm saying? But definitely need to cause a lot of the other elements and intangibles that other people don't necessarily have, he has. So it's really like we can get to talking about the content because that in addition to the energy, in addition to the rhyme schemes will make you real sharp, but definitely don't cuff that mic like that.
Didn't say don't cuff the mic.
Waters, make some noise for Muddy Waters, y'all.
You see me?
You
See me?
Well, next up to the stage, intro verse. Make some noise for intro verse, y'all.
What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling tonight? That's correct. You heard Radio Beat right. Central Verse, aka Fart on the Titty. If you want to follow me on Instagram,
You're never gonna get tired of saying that. Henry, please spin that shit. Don't snap and crack like Dr. Glass. Let you fall hard as fuck, hold on to your stash. You're like a damn sis that goes on to dance. No scalpel or gloves, but I'll be popping it fast. Stop and harass everybody in the food that I pass. Step on the grass, getting ignorant as I laugh. You lay like Tiny Tim and got 0%. Heineken's a shatter in the bag when I hit you with the side effects. Singing like an idleness. I know you ain't crying less. You get thrown out like a bridal dress. Grab your chick by the neck and motor and try your press. You wanna fuck around, I invite you to try and press. I rip this shit like you wish you did. I ain't come about the water, but I'm glistening. Got my own voice stepped out like crystalline. All you soft little niggas, get your pistol flipped. Now I'm back with Christopher, walking the key to New York. When I thought you were shit, I turned free when you talk. Every time I'm on the mic, I'm performing with cars. Every time you speak in bars, the DJ is seeing pause. That's between your lines like a crossfade. The rhymes only see the lane because of the delay. Lay between worlds with 1 foot in each. I can't relate in a way because I can move between. You run circuit the posture, you're just an imposter. So take my offer before I stomp you out, grasshopper. Quick the posture with the gun cock. Treat you like a boss and elder ring and hit you with the sunlock. I know you need to hear this. Saying this is major from a tarnish to another, this is vandalous behavior. Now about ruminations like your hatred is courageous. Now when you need you just call you ignoramus. This is that shit. And I'm just speaking off the dome. My honesty should have taken some more time to practice up at home. And writing lyrics, this is the type of shit that's going on inside my head. So best believe I kill the beat, dead, eat the floor, red. This is what I've been doing. I ain't been starting my own movements. This is the way that I choose to live my life and understand I'll be doing it until I see the light. Awake from my voice, it's a thunderous cry. Honestly, you want to hear me, I ain't just another guy. I've been speaking all my rhymes while I'm digging here in the hot. Smoking all that coach push, and I'm hiding in the sky. Peace, y'all. Sorry about that. Thanks for vibing with me.
You know, it seemed like he had to deviate from his written, but the freestyle was still smooth. Huh?
The bars in the freestyle wasn't there though. But
no.
he didn't really stumble.
Right. Definitely could tell the difference in the content from where he was with the written to when he switched to
right. But the freestyle was the reason why I didn't score him. Didn't score him too high. It was because of the freestyle.
Right. Definitely had some lines in there. Definitely had dope rhyme schemes as usual. The multi-syllabic stuff is continuously good.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, F.
I don't know if it was the beat or what, but we've definitely heard way better from intro verse to the point to where I thought he was, climbing up to be one of the ones in vying for sudden death.
I think he's still on his way to do that. Yeah, I mean, this wasn't necessarily his best, but I thought it was still good. We had to slip up. But yeah, I think he's still developing and falling more and more into what he does, his strong suits. So
yeah, he's definitely continuously getting more and more comfortable with being who Introverse is, like when it comes to like the content that he wants to rap about, the style. I do still think he's got to get comfortable with, like we were saying, like not telegraphing his flow, but kind of getting into a pocket and being able to just kick that shit, where it's not just so like, predictable.
yeah, I'm not mad at you making that critique.
Well, you could tell when he started freestyling what he fell back on as far as his comfort level was, the cadences that he was using.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a critique that I would give for a few people in the Cypher would be to like switch certain cadences. I'm not gonna go back and pick on people right now, but it might be something I do moving forward. There are a few certain cadences that I hear that make me as an MC cringe because they're kind of like dated or way overused, and they're like pet peeves for me. Not that Introverts did any of those. I saw them in some of the earlier. That might be something I speak on at another time.
And go back and study some of the top scores from that night. The flows that the guys were using that got some of the top scores. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody that's getting top scores is having, at least for me, is gonna have a whack flow.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, I think, to do that because everybody's got their own style.
Right. I'm not saying use somebody else's flows or not, but just see like how they transition in bars and the pauses they take in here and there, and you know what I mean, like just the different styles, like because we point out all the time how many different unique styles dudes are coming with,
right?
In Rap Elite, but the ones that we're pointing out are guys who have found their flows, you know what I mean, their delivery, so to speak.
It's a comfort level as well.
Right.
I feel like that's really where I think it's coming from. It's like you get to a certain point where you've done this, you know what I'm saying? And it sounds like you've done this, you know what I mean? And you just are comfortable, like, all right, I'm in my bag. Whereas like some cats are still developing certain skill sets as far as how they do the wordplay, how they arrange those rhyme structures, you know what I'm saying? So in order to successfully do that, I think that's why you get these like flows that are kind of basic, because the flow is not what they're working on. They're working on those other technical pieces. And then once they get that down, we may start seeing those, advancements in the flow. I think that's something that started happening even when we talk about somebody like Simone. Her flows early on were kind of basic as well. Yeah. And as she started to get more and more comfortable, you started seeing her play with the flows a lot more. And now she has one of the most unorthodox flows, period.
Yeah, it's like when stuff becomes second nature. It's like when you first start riding a bike, you really got to pay attention on holding it up steady, and or not, eventually you can ride with no hands. Next thing you know, you might pop a wheelie. You know what I'm saying? Next time you know, like you could do all sorts of stuff once you get the basic mechanics down.
Facts.
Boulevard sale, make some noise for Boulevard sale, y'all.
Cooler.
Yo, what's happening? Good morning, fellas. I'm ready.
I like cooler raps.
Yeah. They say it's competition in the building, but I don't see none. Even if they wear double neon, I call them peons. On a strike of like Iman. When I heard this thing, my face got ugly like a peon. Why they call me cool? Because I'm sitting like a freon. So really be a peon. Buzz killer, I'm the plug still. 1988 when I kill people. Whether new or broad, in the blue field. Haters on the mark, I see heads and I go like a jet start. My name is trademark, I embark on business. You spark like weakness, testing your lyricism with students of business. Bitches, shake your magic eight ball for the unknown. My tone straight to the point like a 4-season full blown, rap like I'm full grown. Protecting my energy so I walk out, retreat, they grown. 52 ways that I rock, milestone. He can't keep his brain off my job. Mind blown, balls cut deep to the marrow, red bone. RP the cheesy ass rappers, tombstone. Ice cold, brick slow, yeah, another dope. When I get my hoodie, it'll come with the eight of coke. Damn, boy, slow, that feels much hate. That answer that I straight to a December 8th. That means I paid fools. But when I pay fools, yeah, I make dollars. So maybe they'll drop a name because I hit dog, will holler. Yo, holler if you really need some hits. Holler if you really need a tip. Holler if you really need that flip. Oh, don't holler at all. I'm not the one out here chasing Peter just to pay Paul. I'm on call. Y'all, eight is not enough. Watch me up and fuck and call you up. Go to the stairs. I'm a part of it like Afro Puff. Take a sniff, a snitch out, primed off my grub. I can call a bitch out like it's all three power puff. Disrespectful, but that's successful. Homie, bread water, let the two come bless you. I can call these years to bless you. Song content, who the one come bless you. Thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna start this one off and ask. Well, I'm gonna start off by asking Ease, because Ease, you scored Cooler lower than the rest of us. What are your immediate critiques for Cooler?
The content just needs to be better. Just the bar, like just push the pen a little harder. Cause like, yeah, I definitely have heard her push the like write better bars in the past. It just seemed lately, she hasn't like I definitely know like last season it seemed like she was definitely pushing the pen a lot harder in my opinion. But yeah, just the bars just weren't there. I did like the like the stage presence, the style. She got in the pocket at one point that was pretty nice, but yeah, I just didn't the content just wasn't up there with the rest of the people who I scored around 8s and 9s or whatever.
F, how did you feel about this one?
I thought it was cool. There weren't a lot of, there were some moments that elicited some reaction, but nothing really that like floored me. In terms of actual content, I think Cool is a professional. She always has good delivery, good projection. She knows what she's doing up there. You know what I'm saying? She has her style. She executes. And really it's a matter of you get what you get. You know what I mean? With Kula. I can't really like give her a lot of feedback because I think she's like, she knows what her strong suits are. It's just a matter of if it's going to resonate with me in a certain way that month or not. Last month I thought what she did really well was have an amazing delivery. You know what I'm saying? And bounce. The delivery wasn't over the top this time, and the bars weren't necessarily over the top, but it was good. It was interesting. It was engaging. You know what I'm saying? It was solid, but I didn't think it was a winning verse.
Right. I agree. I think that the approach was unique. She had different pockets that she hopped in as usual. I don't think the transitions between those flow changes were as clean as last month or some other months. And I think that those transitions may have thrown her off a little bit. Like I think at one point she kind of had a slip up at one point in getting a bar out. I agree that the content wasn't crazy this time. She had a few lines that I definitely thought were dope. But I think there was a little bit of like jumping around in the subject matter that I think kind of, and it, I don't know, like Kula has a way of jumping from doing something lyrical to doing something humorous, to jumping to like a short story, like all within this very little short span of time. And sometimes, or a performance type of bar, all within a short span of time. And I don't think that's always effective. I think the more that you try to cram that type of variance in is where you kind of lose the plot. Rooftop Cooler had a way of like, you could tell that the focus on okay, like I'm gonna be lyrical from
on the right this time. Yeah.
I'm gonna be lyrical for these next 10 bars.
You know the phrase, like they'll say a specialist, you know what I'm saying, they'll be the jack of all trades, when if you're in a specific arena. And so it's kind of like when you have all those tools and in the skill set that Kula has, it's often a lot of time it's about knowing which ones to pick out. You know what I mean? Because I'm the same way. Like I can dance on a beat in a number of ways. I might sing, I might hit a double time pattern flow, I might hit a slow flow, I might whatever. It's a lot of times about just listening and being like, all right, what tools am I going to pull out for this one? Or thinking about which tools fit best on this beat, as opposed to showing all of the tools. It made me think of that Saturday Night Live skit. Look what I can do. Or maybe that was Mad TV. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but yeah.
But it's also remembering what works, and actually leaning on what's effective, and I think Kula has a rebellious nature as well in her artistry, in the sense of like, I get that this works, but I'm not going to that well every time, or I'm not going to that well because that's what you want from me. I'm going to give you what I want to give you, type of thing. And that's fine. But I do think the biggest takeaway here is like looking at your most effective verse, going back to Rooftop Cooler. Like I said, there's like a span of time where it's like, yo, from here to here, for this next minute, I'm gonna be lyrical. And then I'm gonna set up this performance bar, and I'm gonna land this one performance bar. It's, at last, an MC has come along, bing, bang, bong. Like, you could tell like that whole verse was orchestrated. Mm-hmm. Whereas sometimes there gets to be like a kind of like a Tourette's type of feel to some of the other verses, where it's like you're seeing like a person with multiple personalities kind of like display them all within this very short span of time. Mm-hmm. Whereas like it's still the same 2 minutes, but it's how you introduce these different personalities and how strategically you do it, as opposed to cramming them together. That's probably my best takeaway from Kula overall, not just this performance, but in general.
So to sum it up, less is more.
I wouldn't even say less is more. I would say that give your strengths their time to breathe, and understand that lyricism is key, right? So that should be the focus. Mm. You know what I mean? Like, in how you, and when focusing on lyricism, be clean and get it all out. Don't throw a physical performance in the midst of you trying to get your bars off, because then your bars won't land clean because you're trying to move your body around too much, or you're trying to.
I think we gave that feedback to some people last month too. Like with guys who throw who is like yelling on certain bars, or
yeah, for sure,
or whatever, like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think for them is from a kind of more rookie-ish standpoint. Hers is like, she's got a more like knowledgeable approach to how she's doing her shit. It's just that I think it's still like this mixed bag, this mixed bag. You're just not stretching, you're not really placing these landmines in a strategic manner. It's more like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm writing, you still writing, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go here with it. And it's like, nah, take your time, yo. You know, bar us out for a while, then hop into, you know, the personality bag. You know what I'm saying? Then give us a humor joint and then come back to the bars. You know what I'm saying? Because that's your bread and butter for real. But yeah.
All right. Next up, Jason. Make some noise for Jason, y'all.
Hoodie Jason.
The Jason is dangerous, man.
Yep. All right. Yeah. I need to set it off the way it has to be. Yo. Check it. Yo, look, this ain't the compromise. Check it. Yo, look. Yo, look, there's nothing left to say. I'm going off the dome like Tuesday. Yo, there's nothing worth having that ever came easy. Thank the Lord for the church, cause you know I came with a three-piece. Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, boy, you can't see me. You could be king with a king. You ain't able to beat me. Listen, man, I can't be back, but don't get it easy. I've been watching the clock for a minute like Jane Easy. If I aim at your head, it'll spin like a plant seed. You don't wanna know what happened. You try to play me, that's a fact. So you better step away from the Ouija board. Bring the light to reach you, need of a squeegee board. You're inside a house full of demons that you ain't seen before. Never prayed to God, standing right at the preacher's door. I can feel it blazing like Jesus speaks with a tiki torch. This is for that thing that's still holding up. You better play that organ like you Stevie Wonder, boy. I don't need to see you believe it. I got Jesus, boy. That's the Lord. That Lord, I give you seeking the score. Put the good and good, so that will always be the door. It doesn't matter, cause I know who's really get the score. Do you even know what it feels like to bleed from your pores? No. You step in the bed and give us Peter, boy. I'm here to deliver the school with all like the pizza, boy. If you need it, you gon' be like the tower of pizza, boy. Get the enemy, get the vicinity like a human freezer, boy.
I forgot how long it actually even took him to start.
That's the only reason he did not get a 10 from me. Because of the start. If it was not for the start, that would have been a 10 for me. That lit everything on fire. That shit was hard.
Yeah, I mean, his reaction.
Yeah, the playback on the stream that definitely didn't do it justice like it did like it was that night.
Oh nah, you know, in the building it was just like somebody really let a bomb off in the place.
Especially after the suspense of the choke, right? Because it's like this nigga does not do this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, Jason does not choke. And
Right.
so right at the very beginning, like I almost thought it was like planned or something. But I knew it wasn't. You know what I mean? But nah, I thought that was a great performance from him. I really don't have critiques on the actual verse. I guess I'd have to listen to it some more.
I mean, I could critique the verse. There's times where, you know, he deviated from his rhyme scheme. This is what, you know, Jason has a tendency.
That did happen.
You
know how it gets covered up though, is because he builds momentum with.
Yeah,
it's like he builds his momentum,
and right after that,
he might not. Yeah, he might not like land on a crazy haymaker where it should or where you would expect it to be, or he might deviate from that pattern. But it gets by because he's really good at building momentum.
Yeah, and then on top of that, he'll come right behind the like he'll break the rhyme scheme and then get back to that rhyme scheme or throw the rhyming words right behind where they supposed to be, which is kind of like it ropes you back in on some like whiplash shit.
Yeah.
But it's like you could have just actually kept that rhyme scheme all the way through, and because his projection and his delivery is so passionate, it would have just the momentum would have built even more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, that stabbing what we talk about, you know, it's just like the explosiveness of Jason. I just need you to be, and I say this often, a little more. And I mean, I still gave him a 10, but like a little more disciplined with the pen, just a little more disciplined with keeping those rhyme schemes, with you know, adding a few more of those punchlines or fleshing out your punchlines a little more. You know, I feel like one thing I feel like with Jason is like the performance does, and the flow and the delivery does get him over a bit. And it allows him to be a little lazier with the pen than a lot of other people that would score, you know, in the range that he scores in.
Yo, that is very fair. That's a very fair statement.
He gets credit for lines I wouldn't give other people credit for because of how he delivers them.
Yeah. And that really is a thing.
Yeah, that's a talent.
I've encountered those sorts of MCs many times. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure, absolutely. You know, Moon, for instance, in battle rap, you know, it's like things that Moon will say to you, somebody else say to you,
it's not gonna rock.
Reaction, you know what I'm saying? But the way Moon says it, the way he lands it, the believability of it, just the energy around it, it's like a haymaker. You know what I'm saying? So Jason has that same appeal. But I'm not going to not give you that critique that you could be even more explosive. You know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing. Just like a Moon, when Moon does do something lyrical, it's like the entire building, the top comes off the building. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with Jason. When he does something that's super lyrical or that's pretty lyrical, it's like, oh shit, now you give him his bars on top of, you know, all.
That's a thing for sure. Like if he were more intricate with his rhymes, the actual content of them, it wouldn't be fair.
Right.
Like it's for real. Like it wouldn't be fair. Like it would be kind of like overkill, you know, to have that sort of delivery, projection, and the intricate, the digestible intricacies.
Let's not forget about the quick double time. That is like
clean.
That's an old school move that people that's a flow pattern. Nobody.
That's an old move, yo. That's like when somebody like hits you with like a sky hook. You know what I mean? like somebody on the playground, a nigga just hit you with a Hakeem Olajuwon move. You like, yo, you're too young to even know about that move.
Yo,
like you weren't even on the court back then. Like what are you doing?
Does that? Like.
Let me take them to the door.
Nobody even raps like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's very impressive. So that's my only takeaway for Jason.
You was making it All right, next up to the stage. Make some noise for Pharaoh, y'all. On the beat on. Hip hop. What's up? Ready? Let's get it. Too many mixed reviews trying to set up the score straight. I got too much respect to waste time on those who mistranslate or can't concentrate. Never could keep it simple, I guess, but I digress. Only digest my contemplate. Thou shalt not wait, I pray, different y'all begging for the pounds. I eat when it's at stake to infinity, how I hate reason I'm taking up space. Same reason there's still blood on my face. They dripping without a trace while they still didn't get a taste. I turn a cold blood a rep into a cold case. Took the scales off. This my period giving you justice. Double edged sword right off this end. 10 times I make them feel within. Bars give them time to think. The pins, the niggas really hungry. They wouldn't be trapped in. But you are not Daniel. You will not make it out of the lion's den. So either stay 6 feet apart or 6 feet deep with your body parts. Keep the mask off or we break fast. Split apart from the part where I part your tail touch. Mash them all up, catch the squeeze from the top. This is about bobblehead non-stop when I box the bot. Just stay in your corner, trapped in the box. This ain't the fight that you won. I better survive. Just keep clicking away. You'll eventually tell what your loss. Find out people speaking false and want to treat me like a cost. All because the tables I tossed. While y'all was salad dressing, I kept it in bounds. And y'all in the bar was stressing all up in the clouds. This is another planet where y'all want to keep gospel around. And don't try to take shots if you couldn't go for a round. I go solo, avatar arrow with you up and down. Take the scary shit. I'm here to put the boogie down. Niggas but they shady clowns. The makeups and how they make up their stories and how they sound. I thought they were my dogs, but the connection was hellbound, bound to this earth. My spirit unearthed these bloodthirsty hounds, wound up beating the band, missing the truth in the midst of confusion. But this is not a conclusion. Go get it, go cheat it. These kinds are fusion. When you see them out together, these are my rhymes and I'm fine, but it's some with the intelligence that shines. These ain't snakes, these living on here are pork fries. When I spit that fire, look at their skin dry, when they spit and thinking, but it's swine. Yeah.
All right, so with Pharaoh, I didn't feel like this was one of my favorite Pharaoh performances. I felt like there's dope content in there. But I did feel like it was kind of like a big run-on sentence, felt like.
I feel that.
Like, what I've been wanting is for Pharaoh to kind of slow it down, control that content, and turn that into bars as opposed to like this feeling like of
I would say like make it make sense, be more creative in the sense that like it's kind of like it feel like he just be stating a lot of information sometimes.
Right. Make it direct. Be direct. Like this is put raps in rap structure. There seems to be a lack of structure in the bars. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like it makes it feel like, yo, I'm just spewing. It's like a montage of thoughts and concepts.
Yeah, like shit that you're into kind of thing.
Right. As opposed to like you're trying to prove a point and get your point across. With the structure and how you deliver your bars and the statements you make, like making statements within your material. But there's cleverness in it. I also thought the flow this time there wasn't like an attempt to really fit into the pocket here on this beat. But like I said, the metaphors are dope. There's slick lines in there. There's content in there for sure. There's substance in there for sure. A lot of cleverness, honestly. It's simply the presentation. Simply the presentation that is having is preventing you from cracking that ceiling.
It's a dream, y'all.
Gotta start doing some setups.
One person. I gotta listen. Mother, may I proceed and hope that we don't need a day job. We gonna see us in chaos. Bro, spread love in the day, and they chant it like a seance. Let's take a break from that love shit. This between Tony Hawk and John Wick, the gun flip. Who does this? I was sick from nicotine in my Ovaltine. Now that's some expensive shit in 06. I was sick. Niggas saying get this shit laugh like that bitch on the side. Like you hit the whip, you say the bitch is giving dog shit. I hit the bitch whip. Look around, this young running rap like I did a rob with 6 you know what I'm saying? This is the best dream person you ever heard. Take a flip of this. Once we had the cool bomb on the double dog, I see the bitch break her heel and had the fucking eyeball. The bitch is rich with no stories in the rock. He's turkey this gobbled on. Someone stole in the sidewalk, put the ricochet up the street. It sounded like a telephone. Man, now, home. Well, let's flip the scene up here like the cereal, like Krispy Kreme. Ironic that CTC, where I ate the most lunch. Nigga, CTC check the bills half of the niggas in the so fresh. I'm black Adams with the white by my long. I'm on stuff. Them niggas don't know. You pray they let the niggas on the train, but now we ain't give a fuck. Niggas, so what? Transformers is about to end up with dead chapter. Wow, the word of Daniel Jones got rolled, feel like a red stepper. Got my first tip from East End. He had a trophy with red bitch. Like a chief man, keep playing out, keep playing with a bitch rapper. Disregard allegations, cause he a good rapper. Spin back, this nigga say I speak about best friend. He had to run it back and write the book like the best friend. Nigga said he's a complete soldier. This ain't you, you're running the color on the league over. Spin it, send it, seven. Nigga run up on me with his arm raised, bitch. I'm spinning it backwards like Mr. Chabelle. Flip on the bell, something about the split this like big stuff. Say the word with the balcony, reach forward, you Mr. Morel. Yeah, nigga, change rate, project. I push a nigga the wrong way. That nigga saying now, nigga got any chance. I run the microphone, but I sleep on the field of medicine. The nigga change, just run it back to a kitchen, that's like your answer. I'm gonna do with the rap. The right way, get a hoodie, cause I ain't got no number on my back, bitch.
Yo, Trig had some of the biggest lines of the night, yo.
For sure.
He bombed that night, like his body and shit.
Crazy. He said the Tony Hawk, John Wick, this is a gun flip.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of shit. What I will say though, gotta pull that breath control in, brother. It almost took you out a couple times in there. and you know, this, although it's alternative to Trig's unorthodox, presentation as a whole, we definitely need to clean up a little bit of that enunciation. Got to. As much as I want to just enjoy the ruggedness of it, you gotta control it. Pull it in. You know what I'm saying? In the moment, it's like, that's the crazy thing about it. In the moment, it doesn't matter. But when you throw that rewind, when we watch this back, I feel like I struggled with it a little bit more than I did in the building. And I feel it's able to be cleaned up without losing anything. That's my thing. Feel me? Like, But for real, crazy. The way that Trig thinks is so.
That's what's special about him. Like the way he thinks, the way he arrives at a line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The way he arrives at a thought, the way he walks you into a thought is really novel and unique to him as a person and as an artist. If we are nitpicking, then I can get with the feedback the feedback that you have for him. Because with somebody like that who's as good as he is, you do kind of do that, and you had to do that, and the feedback that radio gives is good feedback, especially for a person with a wild style. There are people that have a hard time connecting with it. Like a person like me, I'll be all for it. But an average listener, it might go over their heads. You might miss them. They might say, "Hey, that's not as," so you know what I mean? Like they might not even be able to appreciate it for its uniqueness. So that's good feedback, because just you as a character, the way that you arrive at a line, the way you put yourself together is already super unique and going to make you stand out more than the average person already. And so I can get with some of the enunciation, and that's a hard thing, and that might come with writing edits, less words, wording things a little bit differently, because we talk the way we talk, but there are ways to clear up enunciation. So I think Trig was awesome. I felt like after this round, after his sudden death, and after his Cypher versus, like I was saying, like, damn, this was Trig's night. In the midst of somebody else winning and Jason having an amazing performance, I felt like Trig was made the most impact that night overall, and with the lines that he was saying, like his presence in that Cypher was just undeniable.
I agree. And I think, and I know that Trig's dedication to what he intends to accomplish going forward is reason why I'm giving the feedback that I'm giving.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I say I get it, and I co-sign all of it.
Yeah, because you want to be able to, it's like, also I know that when he gets too when he's like too unhinged, he can get off the rails. And when you get off the rails, he can lose his written and then have to go into freestyle because you fucked up. And that's only because you allowed yourself to get so unhinged that it's like, oh, you lost a word, or you kind of tripped over some shit, and then you can't double back into the spot. So then you just gotta freestyle. You know what I'm saying? So like, the way that you're writing, I want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear that shit. I want everybody to hear it. I want everybody to give you credit for it. I don't want nobody sitting in the back like, man, I ain't even understand this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want that. Like, I want it.
For me personally, he said some dope shit that about me. Personally, that was like, how the hell, where'd you get your information, son? Like, he threw some slick shit in there that made me specifically go crazy, because I was just like, yo, how does this nigga even know about the guild? Like,
you hear me when he went into the Rose Guild shit, you can hear me. I walked up to the stage and I slapped the stage with two hands
because it was clever too.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck you know about that?
Son, what do you know about the guild? What do you know about how do you know Daniel Jones? Like, what are you talking about, son? Like, I was impressive.
Yeah, so I think he said he's copped his first pack from Eson in that line.
Yep. Your store, baby.
Yeah, man. So super shout out to Trig, man.
Trig is exciting, man.
Yeah. Mic check.
Rap Elite, what's the word? Yeah. Got fancy, I'm paying it all the time, man. This shit regular nowadays. I said, look. I said, yo, lyricism still exists. I grip the pen on these instruments and deliver wit. I'm in the midst of some shit where we just don't intermix. Ain't no attempts to switch, and ignorance is bliss. To take niggas don't give a shit when you rap. I represent when I rap. I'm chopping chips when I rap. I make some rhythm with facts, make you relax. Back to that shit that have you nodding your head. Hip hop is not dead, and so we like the dots in the med. Reviving and bringing oxygen in my mom and them said. Bring that heat so when I speak in different vibes you gon' get. That's that respect. I ain't no new cat. It's simply move back to bring the move back. That's so wild like bomber jackets, Timberlands and do rag. No new cat. Could care less what niggas say about me. My whole team know I'm blessed and they don't play about me. You think I be concerned when a nigga hate on me? No, that won't get you in this club like a fake ID. You won't stand. People be programmed. When your goal is to get fly, my nigga, you won't land. And I want land prepaid. There's no plan figured out. Just digging a hole with your own hands. They gotta kill themselves and say we did it for wealth. When you grind it, most of the time, no one is willing to help. Feel like smoking from Friday. Trying to be feeling myself. I don't come down, but I don't get it myself.
Crazy.
Nobody won't open plates. They ain't see when you eat and they be like, hey, yo, you straight? They be scheming. But they think that it's give and take. The person makes the cake. You whipping up a steak and they from parts. To me, all I want is just my space. I moved out the VA like it was a getaway and still think about New York. What I'm really trying to say is my mind is literally in a different state. That's a different state of mind. I'm my people's favorite guy. Watch the suckers patronize. I'm a home to make my spot. They didn't know I'm praising God. Simple up with Asian eyes. Better know and recognize who you are. Make your walk in, huh? We gonna do that. If no one really do that, niggas know me. Final step from Ginobili. Please don't play me closely. We getting high in the beach, they don't know me. I can see where you are, I know where you wrong. I find you if you owe me home. I know where you are, if you owe me, yes, I see where you wrong. If you are, if you owe me, oh, come on, I'm done here. Rapidly, what's up?
That was so fire. And I want to say that I want to go back and look at where he was scored because I feel like I'm more impressed by that verse on the playback than I felt like I was that night. I mean, I gave him a 9. It wasn't too much crazy. It couldn't have been too much crazier than that. I might have the 9.5. I thought I think it's a fair. I think 9.9.5 could have worked. Because the flow pattern and the rhyme schemes were crazy, and then he had crazy lines, some crazy lines in there too. But I think a 9 is definitely fair. F, what you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a great verse. Trying to think of a critique. I mean, he got one of my highest scores, so I thought he did great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Trying to think.
Critique because I mean, one thing that he did here that he's been working on, I feel like, is having more just like speaking about from a conscious perspective. But he's been doing that the last couple of episodes, but this time I felt like he was able to like create a rhyme scheme and still be able to attack within in there, like, you know, like have some punches that really connect while telling that story. So it's like something that it seems like he's been working on, and he kind of got to another level of it this episode. So super shout out to that, because he could easily just lean on rapping the way he'd been rapping, right? Like punching, talking, slick talking, you know, attacking pretty much. But it seems like he's more focused on like, yo, delivering a message, and now he's incorporating some of those attacks into the message, and I fuck with that. Because it's hard to get a message off in a cypher and score high.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a good job of doing that and infusing punching with it.
Right. So salute to real life. We'll definitely be seeing him back. He just had a dope battle against Era Hardaway, which will be dropping soon. It was a razor thin battle as well.
Yeah.
All right. Next up to Balu. Make some noise for Balu, y'all. Wait. I still got to get the motor up. You are here, right? All right, so after Balu. Are you good? Yeah.
Meanwhile, isn't even for me now. Plans for the cream ain't even out. I lost beliefs, released the demon out. Sing loud, scream out schemes against God. Was a king with no squad. Nobody knows the woes that I found. Drown myself in holes with no shame. Pelvic thrust to her nose with no game. My boys built cornerstones with cocaine. I'm way too asocial for cocaine. I might put new potions in my brain. This that flow that I won't change. Boss too big for the fucks that won't break. There, I won't break. I'm keeping the 100 till I'm blue in the face. Home by my own ropes, I'm gonna display. 50 left days, eat a nigga chip, baby, leave him where he lays. Hold the bag up, this is not your day. Niggas fake egos, Cheetos, Doritos, talk to each other, hero, it's not real cheese. Bro, put the big faces over little greens. Basic gold flow with no proteins. It's still nigga chicken tail off. 3 judges, I only want 6s. Father, big brother, I'm doing better physics. Father, big baby, we good out this prison. My father gave me mission. In the trenches. The devil's in the detail. All 3 judges, I only want 6s. Father, big brother, I'm doing better physics. Father, big baby, we can get out this prison. My father gave me missions to Tyler's in the trenches.
My father gave me visions to Tyler's in the trenches. He has some lines in there. He has some lines in there.
He might have, that one line might. It's between that
Ironically
line
enough.
It's between that line and a line that Trig said of my favorite line of the night. That all 3 judges.
I only want 6s was correct.
Oh my God, yo. I love that, yo.
Yo.
I absolutely love that bar.
The thought of that bar is so, yo, that's
this hug this nigga, yo. That shit is hard, son.
Profound. That line is profound. And
that's one of the craziest bars to come on across the stage, just given the setting, right? Like, and the just
yes, the audacity of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that there was the Blue Faces line was dope.
Mm-hmm.
He had the little scheme about the chips. That wasn't crazy, but it was cool. The T'Challa line. There was a few lines in there. My big issue, though, there is an issue that I have with.
I already know what it is, yeah.
It's the stopping, and this has been going on for episodes now. It's the stop and go. What made it worse this time is like you kind of was throwing sound effects in it with the ooh, like that shit is not. That ain't it. That's not it. Like it's not. It doesn't add to what you're doing lyrically and how you rap. It's like almost like oxymorons.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I feel like it would just feel cleaner if that wasn't there. You know what I mean? And a bit more surgical if that wasn't there, because you have some really dope, slick lines. I do
And
understand that that's kind of used for pacing and, like keeping your bop, your rhythm. I do get that. But you could do that in a silent breath as well. You know what I'm saying? So
right, or that, or fill in them rhymes.
yeah.
Fill it in. Don't half-ass this with the rhymes. Give us the full verse. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, there's a darkness element to the way that his style is, that makes his style attractive, that makes those bars hit. It's like there's a wisdom and a darkness to it.
Yeah, I like dark.
So when you kind of like break that with the little personality shit, it don't go together. It takes that element off. But we both scored you an 8. Ease, you scored him a 6.
Actually, Nick gave him an 8.5. You gave him
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah,
you scored 6. Said 3 judges, I only want 6s. You apparently took that literally.
Yeah. Ironically enough, the nigga called out his own score. Exactly what I thought he should have gotten. It's crazy. I know it's crazy, right?
But why?
Because it wasn't that good. The bars weren't that sweet. I shouldn't have to like struggle to find good things to like about your verse. You know what I'm saying? I get that he didn't use the inflections like he did last episode. That doesn't mean he did a better job.
Okay.
What do you think
y'all
about that bar though? You didn't think that bar was hard enough? That bar was hard?
No, I mean it was. I thought it was hard, but not crazy like that. I mean,
okay. I mean that's fine. Everybody has their opinion. I thought that joint was hard though. Yeah.
I thought it was. I mean, I don't
look at nigga. I ain't saying you gotta like it. You know what I'm saying?
You, like you said, you got a preference for you like more dark stuff for whatever.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying, that hits you a certain type of way.
Yeah.
I definitely thought it was clever, but not enough to like boost his whole score up. I kind of think it was on par with like some of the like that the line he said about blue faces or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just think the content wasn't up there with some of the other cats that were in the 8-9 range for me. The flow definitely wasn't. There was like the first 8 bars I feel like were wasted. It took him a lot of time to get into the groove of his verse.
So what like advice would you, or like what would you want to see from him?
Just be more lyrical.
Or like what could he like what could he do?
Be more more lyrical and be more lyrical as in like thoughtful with your words and how you're connecting your bars, so you don't have to put those pauses in place like Radio was talking about. And
that's what I was gonna ask you. You know what? We should do a joint an episode or a segment where we like pick Ease's brain, right? And ask questions to get down to the specifics. You know what I mean? Like because I was about to ask, like, when you say lyrical, what do you deem, like, how do you deem, like, what do you deem lyrical? Like me, I speak on it all the time. Like I like structures, I like scaffolding, I like wordplay and random references, stuff like that. So what do you consider to be lyrical? Like what sort of word devices like move you or pique your interest, like based on like your favorite rappers, or just like what gets a response from Ease?
Well, a lot of niggas know who my favorite rapper is. So my standard for lyricism is like very high, I would say.
Say it because people might not know.
Well, Lupe Fiasco currently is my favorite rapper, and so he's definitely one of the most lyrical in the game right now. So, not to say I base people's shit off of any other rappers, but just as far as what I like and what I like to hear,
You know what though? I think that could be helpful for MCs in the competition who like if they like feel a way about the way that you judge and the scale that you judge on, even simply saying like my favorite rapper is Lupe Fiasco, that kind of like puts that kind of frames it up a bit because Lupe is a very intentional, sort of rapper. So like maybe even I'm not trying to like summarize it up for you, but like even like honing in on like the fact that what it is about your favorite rapper that makes him that. Is it the intentionality, the wordplay, or whatever? Only reason I say this is because I feel like the more you get comfortable with like articulating those thoughts, it will help MCs a lot. Because I think your opinion is very valid. I just think if we can just land on the gems that you have to offer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it'll just be like
Yeah, I feel like
and I think it'll make people respect your opinion too a lot. You know what I mean?
100%. I think that's the piece. Like, they are okay, not necessarily okay, as long as they feel like your scoring is consistent across the board. Like there's a separation, and where that separation lands is probably fine. But when they get a low score, it's like they're gonna want to know why.
But when you say Lupe though, like that answers a lot of questions though, for real. Like I'm not even gonna hold you. Like that's like a statement in itself. You know what I mean?
I think for some that really, really know, I think that, but I still think that, and then when you start thinking about Lupe, like that's such a, from a lyrical standpoint, that's such a high up space that it's very difficult for like, somebody to necessarily gauge themselves.
You're also talking to a rapper who like in ease who can go to them levels like ease, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to that writing shit, like ease be going there. You know what I mean? Like so like I honestly feel like his scoring and I feel like it's all valid. You know what I mean? I just feel like if he just opens up a bit more and just like just giving your opinion as to why, I think it'll be I think your scores will be respected, and people will have less to say about them.
That's one. I think that we also have to remember, like, why we're doing this specifically is specifically to help each MC develop from wherever they particularly are. It's not to just score them, to rank them. This process is specifically designed, the entire Cypher is specifically designed for the process of development. From every level. So there could be somebody that can be completely at the bottom, but we want to be able to help them figure out how to improve upon where they are at that particular time and get a little bit better each month or a lot better, however that growth process occurs. But that feedback is essential in them being able to close that gap. However,
And niggas ain't picking on you, yo. We just really for real just want your opinion to be out there.
And
clear for people. You know what I'm saying?
And like you gotta like look at the times that we've given out tens. You know what I'm saying? How crazy those verses were top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So to give a verse to give a verse like Balu just spit, anywhere from 8 and up to me is crazy, because it doesn't come close to those verses that, you know, hit tens. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. You know what else? It's also
but it,
you know, like Ease came from out of Don land too. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so like that sort of history, like but these are things that like people might not necessarily
and I had
know with
and I
your
al-
history.
and I always have reasons for why I score somebody like I score them. Like I gave Real Life an 8 that night. You know what I'm saying? The only reason I didn't give him higher is because I felt his delivery could have been a little bit cleaner, to where the dope lines that he did spit hit a little bit harder and got a little bit more crowd reaction. You know what I'm saying? Because he might have could have had he might have could have had a night like Jason had that night if he would have just delivered in a different way. That would have made them lines hit a little bit harder. And so since I'm scoring somebody like Real Life at an 8, I can't bump Balu up to that status,
Yeah.
spitting them rhymes that he's spitting
But see,
that night.
but
You
see
know what I mean?
that sort of explanation is all niggas need from you. You know what I'm saying? Like that analyst Ease. You know what I mean? The same way you analyze a football game, basketball game. You know what I mean? Like that sort of analyst is all that niggas need, and
It
to
helps us
substantiate.
calibrate our scores too better. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like it helps us
because that made a lot
develop.
of sense what you just said.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. All right, let's get to we close to the end.
Hey, y'all, thank you, y'all.
At the end.
Yo.
This a rapid ass nigga. This nigga do a lot of rapping stuff.
Yo. Look. Hey. Rappers sitting up cause I'm popping here. Like to put their ass right to sleep. Like it's a rocking chair. Knock a nigga out and shit. Give him my kind of stairs. Locking up my cap on the streets. I never found it. I'm holding life is a gamble. Watching out for snake hanging around. Cause real lives never real life. Fixing the battle just like my third time. Making sure I'm safe when I travel and let the birds shine. Who need a night to sleep from the castle beside the hearse ride? I got these bitches locked to change. Shit about to change. Like a DC traffic. I got a lot of lanes. Niggas probably see me trapping. It's all kind of lame. Cause I drop a body before they poop and I drop the name. Super beneficial. Never lose and they confused. But they don't notice what they're doing. The monkey will play the middle with great official. Put the cap on. And I'm guaranteed that I can make a nigga with diamond in the rough. I'm shining, blinded. They can tell because it's telling with timing. Cause I'm stepping up the steps, so I'm climbing. Brush the deck and I be deaf to the lion. Like a Detroit with solar team. Tight my flow down for Beast Boy and Detroit decoys. There I deep throw it, bad kid. It's like a deep toy. Oh boy, it's a problem. It's difficult to solve it. It's like a bad F from stall. You rappers quick to solve it. Like I'm at a press from stall. Cause I'm a shit regardless. Why I can get your best two dog. Whenever clip about you. I'm gonna do it on the page. Shout out with the cheddar game. Money, prime, respect. Sweetest dollars for extra plays. Niggas call me the best. Simply out to the regular place. Say it all on my chest like a parent. Traffic game. Ain't no they can pretend. The beast man. And I ain't from the south. West or the east end. And make the beast man. And if I'm right, then who needs kids? Like about deep in. No sneaky by your phone creep in. The smart like about the key in. Punching the numbers is game shit. And I'll never be too running to run without thinking this. And I'm a shooter, my Lulu, but never been drinking this. And if they take me out the game, then I'm leaving the big sick. Never leave without the tool, my ass wrapped up friends. Cause one day, and I'ma lose, but never why you up in. Cause I don't break it out with you, but I'ma go like Quinn. Like 12 hours afternoon, I'm about to go back in. These rappers want to be just like me, but this nacho swag. They only pop for 2 minutes like a popcorn bag. Don't think they only judge on future when it's box on back. You fuck with me and meet the hub, who is my toe man? Damn.
Nigga's crazy, son.
There was a reason I ain't give him a 10.
Yeah, and there's I got one critique of it, but go ahead.
I think it was just the overall feeling I had after his verse, to where I was like, I can't. It was like a 9.7, and I couldn't round it all the way up.
Yeah.
Type shit.
you know why though? I'm gonna tell you the crazy thing is probably because it wasn't quite as good as the last couple of months. That's if in comparison to most other verses.
Yeah,
It's
that's
still
that's one of those things where you begin competing against yourself.
Right.
I mean, like that is
Right.
the unfortunate thing of being really good and consistent. You know what I mean? Like that specifically was the reason Vices came, right? For me, like
voice. One of the things that took off from this performance was that his voice wasn't as strong. It seemed like he was straining a little bit to get his bars out, in comparison to the strength in which he was able to deliver the last 2 months. There was also a little bit of sloppiness in the enunciation of some of the lines. They were a little rushed. Some of the lines were a little rushed, but content wise,
but like if we just like overall, yo, this nigga can rap, son.
Yeah.
This nigga can rap, and he does. This is a prime example of like Trey Authentic. The way he raps is a prime example of using the different tools in your toolbox and using them effectively where they're supposed to be used and how they're supposed to be used. Right? Like as a rapper, I listen and I'm like, I see what he did there, see what he did there, see what he did there. He's pulling a bunch of tricks out of a bag and he's putting together a nice show for you, but not overdoing it. He's using the tools the right way.
I would have loved to see him in the dark room, yo.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him against like some of the other past champions. You know
what's so crazy? This is the thing that's crazy about him. Also, is his competitive nature. Like he strongly desires to Cypher against Trademark. They tags them in posts.
I would love that Cypher. Basic, Trey Authentic, Trademark,
Tone Red.
Real life.
But let me be clear though. Let's also be clear about this, because there was this type of chatter, this type of talk among different people in different circles when we were having conversations about, oh, Jason had the best verse, or oh, Trey had the best. No, bro. Nobody had a better verse than Trey Authentic at episode 4.
Yeah, like if we
there were better moments.
There were better moments. Yeah.
But there were not a better verse.
Yeah, if you just like put that shit down on paper, read it, rap it. I mean, just listening to it multiple times, it's gonna stand out. It's gonna be the best verse.
Trey Authentic's verse, none of us would have made it home that night.
Yeah.
If Trig would have rapped Trey Authentic's verse, none of us would have made it home that night.
Yeah. Yeah, niggas heads would have
still been there, like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just that he's, like you said, he's competing with himself in this particular episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's literally it. Like, there wasn't, rap for rap, bar for bar, structure for structure, flow for flow. There wasn't
skill for skill, right? Skill for skill. That's how we put it. Skill for skill, yeah.
There was not a better verse rapped in the first round of episode 40 than that particular verse right there. Let's just keep it up.
Yeah, that verse was good. It was good. But because there's like I said, when I say a nigga's pulling out all the tricks, like one thing niggas know I'm a sucker for is full line rhymes. Like when a nigga go full line and do it for like 4 bars, 8 bars straight. Like this nigga regularly does this as a regular thing. He will rhyme an entire bar with the bar above it and the bar, but you know what I mean? Like as a regular thing. And that's fire. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a muscle that can be developed, right? Like, so I respect the dedication to it. You know what I mean? But especially when you don't telegraph that you're doing that, right? because that's something that I do all of the time, yo. But it's for those who listen to it and know to check for it. You know what I mean? Like if you listen to my shit enough, you do a playback, you be like, damn, that nigga rhymed the whole damn sentence. That's hard. You know what I mean? But and this nigga be doing that on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Like, and it'll just go overhead because the line is actually crazy.
Right.
And not even realizing you're doing that on top of giving niggas a crazy line. It's using that to set up the next bar. Like that's called mastery.
He's definitely in a mastery level. What I will say for those that are competing, I don't want y'all to feel discouraged.
Do not do that.
Not feel discouraged. Take pointers. Also realize you can see some fatigue setting in.
Mm-hmm.
He won by 0.5.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta look at that this as a competitor, right?
Some fatigue setting in. The voice is not coming across. There's a little bit of sloppiness. You know what I'm saying? This is your moment.
And nobody has ever gone more than 3, right?
Right. Well, no. Basic has.
Basic. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was okay. Yeah, that was the only guy, and that was a long time ago. So this is unprecedented waters
Right.
we stepping into still. So next episode could be anybody's.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, like this came down to that sudden death, right? The thing is, he was 100% prepared for that sudden death.
Mm-hmm.
And the other MCs in that sudden death were not 100% prepared for it. Though it was a good sudden death. And so like for instance, Jason, right? I want to see Jason win one. I want to see Jason get back to the sudden death.
Here's the thing.
Be prepared for that, and he's going to have to pull out new tricks to win that sudden death.
Right. Here's the thing that goes back to my earlier critique of Jason about the penmanship and not being potent with the pen. And when the beat is off, that is closed.
Yes,
you don't have pockets to hit.
You need more haymakers.
Gotta be lyrical.
And yes,
gotta be lyrical.
Yeah,
gotta be.
That's because and Jason should look into that. Like maybe looking at a certain battle rapper or something for how to approach an acapella like that. Because Trey Authentic is a seasoned battle rapper. So when you turn the beat off, he's gonna get more comfortable. You know what I mean? So that's something that every MC in the competition will need to work on.
In general,
for sure.
Jason should focus on how to write a legitimate punchline.
Yeah.
Jason has a way of, being lyrical by proxy, like not by necessarily like super intentional. Mm-hmm. Like it's like gems. He's got and wordplay. Yeah. He definitely pulls off some great wordplay.
Yeah, for sure.
Like last episode, it was like the bigotry line, like hide, you know what I'm saying? Just you hide your gifts under the Christmas tree on me. You can hide your, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Under the tree, like that shit was crazy. And he does that, you know what I'm saying? But he also could benefit from a legit punchline. You know what I'm saying? Like in his delivery and his passion with it, it's gonna go crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy, yeah.
It's gonna go super crazy. So like, he's a very dangerous person for somebody like Trey Authentic, because he brings an element that is very different.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to necessarily out rap Trey Authentic to win.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He just has to create more moments.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when the beat is off, your moments come in the beat based off that cadence, that rhythm, that bop. You know what I mean? Those patterns. But when that beat is off, you only can rely on the actual words. And so them joints, you got to find a way to make them joints punch, make them hit. Not saying they need to be punchlines, but they need to hit. There needs to be a connection that the listener is completing a circle. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah,
You got to make that just as entertaining and just as engaging as how you dance on a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Because you have your line-based rappers, you have your real life is going to give you a slick like to feeling myself like Smokey. Like what? Like that is crazy. You say that by itself, it just gets a reaction. You don't need no rhythm, you don't need no bop, you don't need nothing. You know what I mean? That line is hard and stands on its own. You know what I mean? And so even if you start with one-liners that hit, you know what I mean, and build your way up, but that's definitely something to focus on. But I mean, you fire too at the same time. You know what I mean? So
you know what I think would be cool, and maybe we can work on this as like a little project, man. You know, maybe we can do like a thing of like top 10 lines from every episode.
dog, I told you I'm gonna do this technically speaking segment, yo. I need to get the logistics on it. On how I need to sit down and logistically figure out how to approach it.
Oh, see now,
I do this.
I know how that line thing is coming along. I forgot about this other thing that we're working on too.
And you know, I just thought of an idea too, without coming back with you offline about it, on how we can approach this.
Yeah, because I think if we start to highlight more lines that stand out, I think that will also help MCs understand what type of lines work, like to write. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's a legit punchline. When you say, you know what I mean? It's like
Your bean just come in there.
he might have. Yes, he
I
did.
saw the door randomly open. Nigga start thinking paranormal activity.
Right.
Door just randomly open.
Let me check and see if that was bean first before this goes any further.
Look. I mean, but Radio should have seen the door open behind him, or he one of them dumbass things that get killed in the movie. You know what I'm saying? The monster that slipped in. Yo, he ain't paying no attention. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Paying attention. Yes, it's my dog. But yeah, nah. So we definitely gonna chop it up. More content to come. Not just for the MCs. Everything that we do is going to benefit the MCs in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But also, we want to be, you know, add some additional content and entertainment for those that are following the MCs, so that y'all can, you know, be more immersed in what's going on, because it's some special shit going on, and we want to make sure everybody is tapped in. Any last words? Also, next episode, Juneteenth. It's a doubly special day because then I found out it's also Father's Day. So that's kind of crazy, but you know, we're gonna be in the spot doing what we do. So, you know, and we're working on putting together a really dope show for that as well. So, and we'll also shout out to Gas Cookout. They'll be also in the building at Tang Biscuit before we get there. So we'll be probably doing some co-promoting with that event as well. Nice. So shout out to Nana and the gang over there. Any last words from the guys?
Nope.
We'll see y'all on Juneteenth. And yeah, man, keep fucking writing. Oh, we still got plenty slots left for that Cypher as well. So if you tuned in, go ahead and lock in, man. But other than that, peace.